There is a pin-drop silence. Only darkness has engulfed the empty hallway where Kamala is standing. The corridor looks like a dungeon which has never seen light any day. She is confused about how she got there in the first place. However, out of the blue, she hears a loud scream. Just opposite to where she is standing, she sees a door-like figure. At first glance, the hallway is so dark that even the door has merged with the darkness, making her difficult to differentiate. But after keen observation, she identifies the shape of the door. Again, a loud scream is heard. This time she is sure that someone is inside the room. Slowly the door starts opening. But a gust of wind closes the door. Scream now gets louder than before. Kamala feels that she has heard this voice before. The peculiarity of the familiar voice makes her walk the corridor slowly to see if anyone is inside it. But her hand starts trembling when she holds the knock of the door. It's all sweaty. Fear occupies her mind. Her heart is beating so loudly that she's able to hear it as well. But she can't resist herself from helping out the person who's trapped inside. In one go, she pushes the door and falls on the ground. The crying noise is gone now. There's no soul inside the room. She looks everywhere, but she only finds darkness. She tries to stand up, however, her legs are numb. Just opposite to her, she sees some toffees thrown at the floor. She crawls her way to reach out to those toffees and slowly picks one. Suddenly a wind like force spits her down. She loses control of her body and falls down. The force now climbs on her body, making her uneasy. "Please help me, leave me," she cries out loud, moving her hands and legs. She hears a distorted voice saying something to her. "Please, leave me alone. I beg you, please," she asks for remorse again. The force slowly gains power in her body and becomes so strong that she can't even move her hands and her legs. Suddenly the force pulls her legs and she screams out loud. "Oh, hello, madam. Your stop is coming now," a bus conductor screams his long out to wake Kamala. She slowly opens her eyes. At first, she is lost and cannot comprehend where she is now. But slowly, she gets to the sense and gives money to the conductor. The bus is moving in its own speed. The roads are twisted and there are turns every minute. Kamala is surprised to find her in such a deep sleep state. As someone who has a sleeping pattern like a dog, she has never slept peacefully. Even a small crack of sound can wake her up, even if she has drunk a whole bottle of wine. After watching outside from her window seat for quite some time, she slowly turns towards the person who is sitting next to her. A pale face, an old man who looks like he is in his mid-50s, gives a wide smile to her. Although he has behaved decently by not invading her space in this 8-hour-long journey, she finds him more creepy than welcoming. "Looks like you are from town. Did you come from Kathmandu?" asks the old man. "Yes," she replies. Since her childhood, she has always been a keen talker who would talk to anyone she met. But for now, she is not interested to talk with anyone at the moment. She starts thinking about the dream she saw, trapped in a room with a force attacking her. This dream, which repeatedly haunted her, was something that she had been seeing God knows for how long. The only thing that wasn't constant in her dream was the presence of chocolates. Sometimes it was books that were dispersed, or sometimes it was toys. However, the unfolding of the events would be the same. She'd slowly open the door and fall down, and force like the speed of a howling wind would knock her down, later gaining control on her. After an hour, she reaches to her stop. In a long journey to this remote village of Rukum from the headquarters, she hasn't eaten or drank anything. The hunger has made her head burst into the pain, and before she thinks she will embarrass herself by getting fainted in front of the villagers, she decides to take a boat to a nearby Khajagar, a mini eatery place, to put some food inside her stomach. Didi, is there anything that you can make now? I'm really hungry, says Kamala in a pitiful tone. Yes, Baini, I can make noodles for you. Is it okay? Replies the shopkeeper of a store, which is just next to a bus stop where Kamala is now. In a rusty table at the corner of the shop, she keeps her bag down and rests. The Khazagar looks like any other local eateries of Kathmandu. The loud radio, along with the loud sounds of the visitors are embracing the Khazagar, which is like finding an oasis in an empty desert for her now. At the top of the counter, a man's photo is hung with a small bunch of flowers surrounding it. The photo looks as old as the crockeries, tables, and the settings of the Khazagar, but the man in the photo looks young and vibrant, dressed in an army-like green outfit with a red bandana just above the smiling face. The man was among the thousands of people who lost their lives because of the civil unrest. But Kamala had no strength to occupy such a serious piece of information. All she wanted was a warm meal that could satisfy her hunger. When her order landed over the table, she couldn't resist the hot noodle for a while. In one go, her hunger leads her to slurp the noodles so hard that she starts choking. Baini, are you okay? Do you want to drink some water? Says the shopkeeper, who's busy in her kitchen cutting vegetables. No, Didi, I'm fine. I was so hungry that I couldn't resist, she replies after gulping the water down her throat. The exhausting journey makes her lethargic. Her steps are slower, but her breathing gets heavier. The last person she met on the way had told her that it would take half an hour to reach the health post, but the destination still seems far away. The house she saw half an hour and the slopey road are of the same size, still even after walking for this long. She sits down to lament her impulsive decision as well as to rest for a while in the shade of a tree. It's getting darker and she knows that she should find a place where she's going to stay as soon as possible. Amid the tiredness and walking for hours, her mouth gets dried. She slowly picks a bottle which she had filled with water at the eatery she had eaten the noodles before. A cold rush runs her body and she feels that someone is touching her back. Moving her head backward, she tries to find the one who had touched her. Beside the lush jungle, which was getting darker along the rays of sun moving away from the earth, she finds not a single soul. Slowly she moves her head. A man in his mid-30s appears out of nowhere, leaving her scream out of sudden appearance. The man smiles at her. He's dressed in a wrinkled old blue shirt and black pants. An old bag is whirling around his waist. You got scared, madam. I'm not a ghost. I'm a human being just like you, says the strange-looking man, smiling at Kamala. Gaining her sense back with her heartbeat getting back to normal, she observes the man's face very keenly. On the left side of his cheek, there are marks which look fresh and made from a sharp object. Her attention is immediately drawn towards it, appealing her motions to touch it with her hands. Who might have caused pain to this man, and why did they hit him? In the strain of thoughts, Kamala starts to ponder around, looking at the man again. Oh, hello, madam. Are you still scared now? Says the man, stopping her from staring at him. No. You appeared in such a shocking way that I got scared, replied Kamala to man's query, with an awkward smile on her face. At full speed, gaining her energy back, Kamala picks up her bag and starts walking. The man is walking at the same speed and tries to make small talk again with Kamala. So you came from city? Asked the man again. Yes. Any specific purpose for your visit, or you were born here? No, I came for a study. Probably you might have heard about the strange happenings taking place in the school with the girl students over here. I came to help the health workers here, answered Kamala. How will you help the health workers? Well, I'm a student of psychology. Do you know what psychology means, Dai? You city people think we don't know anything? Yes, I know what psychology means, replied the man, who now started walking faster than Kamala. The bring of his distaste towards her inquiry embarrassed Kamala. Although she was going to apologize to him, The man started walking faster and faster, reaching a few meters away from her. You educated people think psychology can solve this? Only the shamans, chakris can solve this. The gods are angry with these girls. Because of this modernization, they have become uncultured. God is punishing for their sins, said the man in a commanding voice. The anger thrown towards her by the man was not a new experience. Even in the cities, she would experience the same dubious and skeptical comments from people who wouldn't even bat an eye for psychological help. In front of her eyes, the man started moving inside the thick jungle, leaving her in a confused state. After several minutes of walking the vertical cliff, she finally reaches the village. Unlike the town, the village is quiet, with birds flying back to their homes, and the sun getting down after fulfilling its job for the day. In the tranquility and the chilling fresh air, Kamala forgets all the struggles she had to encounter to reach this village. Her steps are slow, but the heaviness from climbing all the way to reach this village, a home for her for the upcoming few weeks, is all gone. Kamala bows her head down and follows the caretaker. The house looks like exactly what Kamala expected it to be. Rustic, old, made from bricks, with thatched roofs guarding the inhabitants against sun and water. She slowly climbs the stairs. The caretaker is leading her. Her steps are slow, but the caretaker walks in an ease, like he is sleepwalking without thinking that he would fall. When she enters the room among her 5 sense organs, only her nose is active. Neither she hears the caretaker, nor the darkness makes her see anything. The only thing that she feels is the musty smell of the room. The caretaker slowly lights the lantern and hands it over to her. "Here's the room, ma'am. We have made sure that it's comfortable for you," he says. "Thank you. How far is the health post from here?" she asks. "Just a few minutes away, ma'am. I'll take you tomorrow morning," he says in a broken English. "Sure, thank you so much for your help," she says, smiling back at him. Before the caretaker leaves her to rest, he drops a bombshell, making Kamala regret her decision of coming to this remote area again. The privilege of having a toilet next to the room is snatched from her. As for her stay here, she needs to walk 2 stories down and use the common tin-made toilet, which is a few steps away from the house. With all those release of the sweat, the whole day she still feels like to urinate. Gaining all the courage before she snoozes off, she slowly comes down. In the dark night, the lantern feels like an armor guarding her. She's even scared to look back and quickly runs to the toilet. The release of urine from her body relaxes her mind. And after using the toilet, just before she's going to enter the house, she hears a noise coming from the back. In this dark night, the middle of nowhere, who could it be? Is it the caretaker? Her mind is making all the guesses. She's scared to turn away. However, she again tries her best to activate her hearing sensation and identifies the sound as her footsteps. She slowly turns and sees 2 girls looking at her. "What are you girls doing here at midnight? Aren't you girls scared?" screams Kamala at those 2 invaders who has scared the shit out of her. The girls just stare at her and run away after giving a wicked smile at her response. She is puzzled at their strange behavior at first, but resorts returning to her room for rest. It's a new day for Kamala. The sun has shone, and the peaceful village which she had seen yesterday in the night isn't gloomy anymore. After walking for a few minutes, she finally reaches her workstation. She is immediately greeted by Ganesh, the local health assistant, who offers garlands of flowers to her. "I hope you're liking our village, Kamala-ji," says Ganesh with a pleasing smile on his face. Kamala nods to his concern and is touched by his hospitality. Even though she is far away from her home, an outsider to the locals, she feels welcome. Most of the people she met, the students, except the peculiar-looking man she met on her way, were helpful and always greeted her with a wide smile on their faces. After their chit-chat about the journey and the weather, Ganesh starts explaining the strange happenings that are taking place over the village. "For a few months we have been witnessing mass hysteria again in various girls. They started screaming loudly out of sudden in the schools, shaking their bodies. It has created a havoc here, as people are thinking that a spirit is doing it." Even before he was done with his explanation, Kamala knew how she could help. As superstitions still ran on the blood of people, she knew that mass hysteria is happening because of a psychological reason. "Do you know the history of those girls, Ganeshji?" asks Kamala. Ganesh starts checking his notebooks. Kamala knew that he was acting out, but she did not say anything to him. It's fine, Ganeshi. We'll find more about them after our visit, says Kamala. However, she got the shock of her life when Ganesh told her that he couldn't join her for a few days as he had to leave for headquarters for his personal work. Kamala was furious. She had come all the way from Kathmandu in this remote village to help these innocent girls, whose situation could deteriorate if they weren't helped in time. Some of the girls were taken to local jhakaris already. However, the only health assistant in the village was running away from his duty, she felt. I hope you won't mind. If you need any help, you can ask the locals. They will show you the way to the school, said Ganesh, with a smile on his face to hide his embarrassment. Kamala wanted to yell at him for being responsible. However, her stone-faced expression communicated her feelings, and she began to worry about how she will be able to help those innocent girls without the support of a local person. Kamala starts climbing the steps. The sun is rising in its glory and is hotter than yesterday. Another thing to add to her regret list. The 1 hour-long journey has exhausted her. The sweat glands are rejuvenated and she's all wet. In a big rock beside a peepal tree, she decides to rest for a while. She shuts her eyes for a while and tries to enjoy the luscious nature which she always remains out of touch with. The city is her home. Tall buildings excite her. While standing on the roof or sitting beside the windows, when the wind blows on her face, her body receives a sensation that cools her mind out. But the wind blowing in the green and clean suburb, just a different experience. She finds more comfort in losing herself here than the city. Slowly she opens her eyes. Likewise the previous time, the strange-looking man appears in front of her, the crooked smile in his face. Kamala is furious at this intruder. How strange is that I always find you in the middle of jungle when you're closing your eyes, right? Expresses the man. Kamala again stares at his face. His eyes look peculiar and the marks are still there. It's bigger than before. But Kamala feels like not talking to him. His rude behavior was perplexing enough to think that she was not answerable to any of his queries. She slowly stands and begins to walk. Hey psychologist, are you going to Iskul to treat those indecent girls? Asked the man who's following her. While Kamala knew that it would be difficult to explain the villagers given the fact that they believed this was a spirit coming from the grave to take revenge by entering into the bodies of girls. But what she was not expecting was that sexism would curtail in getting those innocent girls from treated. She was clearly aghast by his remark, but she kept moving. I can take you to that Iskul. I'm their teacher, said the man. At first Kamala didn't want to take his help, but in the middle of jungle, where she sees no soul, she had to take his help. So you are their teacher, and you think like this, said Kamala to him who now was walking along with her. Madam, girls and guys are different. In most cases these incidents are happening to those who don't study hard in school. You know they don't even listen to me in my extra classes, he replied. Slowly he starts leading her and they finally reach the school. A 2-story long building, the school was at the top of the cliff. A signboard was kept at the entrance. Amar Shishu School, read Kamala after gaining a breath. Amar Shishu Iskul, the man said again with a crooked smile on his face. It was 1 p.m. when they had reached the school. Her rats had started to run her stomach due to hunger, but today she just came to the school and talked with the authorities. The school was empty. Only a few students were sitting inside a damp classroom. She enters the room along with the teacher. At the corner of the classroom, the spider has built their pod. The desks are filled with dust. The students give a puzzling look at her arrival. After observing the students, she is curious to know why the whole school only has a bunch of female students in a single room, that too in such a small number. In her head, she thought that the school would be surrounded by students and teachers running here and there, as Ganesh had told her that it was the most preferred school in the village. Why are there so few students? Where are the other students? Kamala asks the teacher. They all are gone. We had a holiday today in Iskul, so we just have these students who are studying extra class, he tells her. Kamala again looks at the students. Dressed in kurta salwar, they look the same age. An air of melancholy surrounds the room, and Kamala feels sorry for these girls who still are being taken to Jhakris for their treatment when in real life they need counseling and mental health. She walks to the teacher, who's busy now staring at the students with the same wicked smile. So these are the students who need help, right? The teacher slowly turns at her. Yes, they need, but not yours. But of Jhakris, he replies. Out of blue, he starts shouting at girls. A bad soul has entered in your body. Only a Jhakri can fix your girls. With his cries, the girls get scared. Some start screaming out loud, while a few resort to crying. Kamala is astonished at this behavior. What kind of teacher is this person, she thinks. It has been a long and difficult day for Kamala. She found the teacher's behavior towards the student a bit weird as well as problematic. She tried calling Ganesh many times to complain about the teacher, but his phone was unreachable. Exasperated at the situation, she feels helpless. She throws her phone with all the strength she has in her bed and resorts to sleeping. The classroom is dustier than yesterday. The students are wearing the same clothes they wore yesterday. The school is as empty as it was yesterday. All of these situations confuse Kamala, whether she is in wrong school or in a school where she isn't supposed to be. Before she opens her mouth, the teacher interrupts her. The school is closed now for a few days. Do whatever you want to do with the students now. These are the students who are haunted by the spirit, he says in a commanding tone. I want to meet the principal and other teachers as well, she replies back to him. The wrinkles on his forehead signify he is irritated. Now, listen to her demands. They are not present now, but you can meet them tomorrow. Now focus on this bunch of sinful people, he yells back at her. Without wasting her energy on arguing him, she goes to approach the students, who are sitting on the benches. Most of them look around the same age. There is silence in the room. While they haven't opened their mouths, their eyes have done all the talking. In the depth of their eyes, Kamala finds the pain, which is stopping them from being happy, which is stopping them from flying. Kamala goes and sits next to a girl who's in the front row. She moves towards her. The girl slowly moves her head and turns to her side. Kamala slowly moves her hands towards her. At first, her body shows resistance, but when she understands that this is a good touch and the warmth shown by Kamala, she just hypocrites and she slightly smiles at her. Bunny, can you please explain to me what happened to you guys a few days ago? Asks Kamala after making her comfortable and winning her confidence. The girl first looks at her friends. They make some eye contacts, and within one go she tells everything to Kamala about how she and her friends started shouting and moving their bodies, some blabbering and throwing things out of sudden. The strange happenings to them had petrified them, as when they woke up after getting fainted, they didn't have any memory of this incident. Can I meet your parents? Kamala asks her. Their parents are farmers. They don't have time to indulge in this kind of nonsense, yells the teacher from the front of the classroom. Kamala gives a stare to him after listening to his remark. She wants to give it back to the idiotic teacher whose nonsense she has been tolerating for quite a while. But she doesn't want to stray away from focusing on the larger picture, to identify the problems of these innocent girls who need help and assistance, but most importantly, compassionate shoulder to lean on so they could talk about their problems. Barney, has anyone done anything wrong to you or bad to you? Asked Kamala to the girl. The girl, who's bowing her head down until now, looks at Kamala after listening to her question. After a few seconds, she turns her head towards the teacher. It was another day for Kamala. She notes down everything that took place today. The absence of teachers and other students in the school. The shady teacher and Ganesh, the health assistant, not picking up his phone. Everything is making her confused. After preparing for how she will start the counseling of the students, she decides to call for the day. Kamala reaches to the classroom. The room is silent. The girls are sitting in the same position. It feels not even a single thing in the classroom has changed after her first arrival. Even the girls are wearing the same clothes. She slowly keeps her bag down at the bench and opens it. Carrying some color books and pencil colors in her hands, she hands over it to the girls. The girls do not give any reaction to her. They just stare at her. To break the ice, she starts briefly explaining the girls about what they are going to do. Okay girls, we are now going to do some coloring today. Write today's date, your name and draw anything you want, she says to them. Just after listening to her instruction, like robots, they start quickly moving their hands on the paper. It feels like they were waiting to get a paper and pen so they could have volcanic release of their emotions that is eating them. After a few minutes of sitting down on their chair to give their own private time, Kamala moves to stroll around and see their drawings. The girl sitting in the front row, with whom Kamala had chatted yesterday, paints something that Kamala finds bizarre. She has scribbled all over the paper. The only thing that is recognizable in her drawing is that she has drawn a small house. Kamala then walks a few steps to see what the girl behind her has drawn. When she sees her drawing, an adrenaline rush of shock mongers her mind out. The girl has drawn exactly what the girl their friend has. Kamala then moves forward to another girl's drawing, and it is also the same one. Every girl in the class had drawn exact drawing, leaving her terrified. She then keenly tries to observe the drawings. Her eyes slowly move towards the date written on the drawings. She gets another shock as all of them have written the year 2001 in their date instead of 2018. Suddenly a girl starts screaming. She faints. Kamala runs to pick her up. Another girl also starts screaming, and she also faints. One by one, all of the girls from the classroom first start screaming and then faint and fall on the bench. Kamala is paranoid. Her heart starts beating quickly. Running at a speed, she goes to fetch a water bottle from her bag. She starts throwing water to the girls, but no one wakes up. She tries to hold them so they could come back to their senses. Running over here and there, even when she started breathing heavily, her attempts do not succeed in waking the girls up. She runs outside to see if she can find the teacher or anyone who can help her. Not a single soul is outside the classroom. She then again runs outside to find out the girls standing. All of their eyes look the same, of black color. Kamala goes near them. Winnie, are you fine? What has happened to you girls? She asks. A girl looks at her and says, Iskul, and laughs in a scary way. All of them start shouting and screaming loud. Throwing the color books here and there, Kamala is petrified to see the girls in such a situation. She runs like a cheetah down to cliff if she can find anyone. Well, quickly running down, she meets the teacher on the way. She knows the teacher has done something wrong with these girls. Before he speaks anything, she runs far away from him, striking her head in a stone, leading her to fall down from the cliff. A bunch of villagers hover around Kamala. Slowly she opens her eyes. Her head is heavy. First it's difficult for her to get a sense, but slowly the visions of girls shouting and screaming is on her mind. Ma'am, are you alright? Screams Ganesh at her. Her head is still heavy. Yes, the teacher is doing something wrong to the girl. We should go and help them, says Kamala, keeping her hands on her head because of the pain. Ma'am, which teacher are you talking about? I've been calling you since morning. My phone got lost, so I couldn't call you. The teachers told me that you haven't visited the school yet. Is everything alright, ma'am? He says. I went to school 2 times. Which school, ma'am? Amar Shisu School. Ganesh is taken back after listening to her. School doesn't exist, ma'am. During the war, the police blasted the school as they were doubtful of a teacher who was taking the extra class. The police thought that the students and teachers were making plans to attack the police. Ganesh explains to Kamala. No, it exists. The teacher is harassing the students. We should go to school. We should go to the school. Kamala starts blabbering. Yes, ma'am, it was later found that girls were being harassed by the teacher. They had no connection with the Maoist. But now the school doesn't exist, ma'am. Only the Raymans are there and no one dares to go to that school, he says. Kamala does not pay any consideration to what he is speaking. She starts blabbering again. We should go to the school. We should go to that school. Suddenly Kamala sees the teacher in front of her. He starts revolving around the crowd, and Kamala starts pointing her finger at him. See, he's the teacher. He is the teacher of the school. Kamala screams, looking at him. The villagers look in the direction she points her finger, but they see no one there. The ghost of the teacher stares at Kamala. Iskul, not school, he says, giving the same crooked smile at her. Kamala now starts screaming and shouting. She starts moving her body in full speed, twisting her arms, carrying all the spectacles. Looks like she has been haunted by the spirit as well. Call the Zakri, a villager shouts. Look at her, she's fainting. Look at her, she's fainting. Another villager says, when Kamala falls on the ground abruptly, shocking everyone.